I'm here with my friend Louie Lebetjis. There's a lot of people that want to get out and buy magic books, and there's one book that everybody asks for, which is Expert at Card Table, or Erdnase. And I've seen a lot of guys that talk about Erdnase, and they know some of it, but my friend here knows a lot about it, and there's not somebody that everybody knows around, but he knows everybody. He knows a lot about it, the history. He talked to a lot of guys about it, had long discussions with very famous people about it. So here it is, Louie Lebetjis, and he's going to talk about Erdnase for you guys. So Louie, first question for you. How did you actually come across the book?
How did I come across the book? Good question. First of all, I actually came across the book. My grandfather had a copy of it. Basically, you know, we always played cards. So basically, there was always cards on the table. My grandfather was a gambler. My dad was a gambler. Uncle, all these guys. Anyhow, I was always intrigued. I was always intrigued by trickery. You know what I mean? Moves. What could be done with a deck of cards? So the first time was actually during a game. My uncle was playing with my dad and a couple of friends, and I actually seen him bottom dealing. Actually, you know, I was short, so I could see underneath the deck, and it was smooth. No one was catching him, and I was like, how in the hell is he getting away with this? Anyway, so I asked him, you know, Uncle, how you doing that? He didn't want to tell me, so he gave me $1, and he goes, we'll talk later. Anyways, how I came across the book, my grandfather, when we would play cards, he would always do some type of shuffle. I knew he was doing something, but he wouldn't tell me what. So he said, if you really want to know this stuff, I have the book that you want. And that was my first introduction to Expert at the Card Table at a very young age.
That's really cool, yeah? That's good. You can actually see the whole bottom deal, but you can't not see anything, because I know how uncles are. Right? They'll be like, shut up.
Exactly.
Right?
Exactly.
Okay, so the next question would be, so what's actually the book all about?
What's the book all about? What isn't it about? It's about pretty much, you know, the title says it for itself. As you can see, you know, the expert at the card table. So it's, you know, doing expert things at a card table. But the true meaning of the book, once you open to the first page, Artifice, Ruse, and Subterfuge at the Card Table, it's pretty much cheating at cards, right? And it's a system, more or less. I mean, from all the techniques, it has a system from A to Z. So it's not something, some people call it the Bible, but it really is a, you know, good work of art. It's an art. To me, it's such an art form. It tells you techniques. It tells you how to live life. It talks about philosophy. You name it. It's all in here. So it's not just a book about cheating. There's magic in there. There's some great card tricks in there. So the book itself is really enigmatic. It's an amazing book. But I would honestly say its main purpose was to cheat at cards.
Yes. Do you think that would influence somebody to gamble or something, or should just?
I don't think so. I mean, Erdnase in the book makes it very clear that, you know, it won't make the fool wise, or, you know, get rid of the annual, you know, pop of suckers, right? It's whatever you want to bring to the book. If you want to bring to the book, you know, I think it's for pure entertainment purposes only. Brilliant for magic. You know, there's false shuffles in there, false cuts. Why a lot of magicians love this book. But you bring whatever you want to it, right? And you can kind of make up your own imagination as you practice the techniques, and sometimes you'll go down that path and come up with your own technique. So it'll give you an inspiration. So it's pretty cool.
Awesome. Okay, so my next question would be, what's one of your inspirations from the book? Like, why inspire you to go and continue, you know, search for stuff? And because I don't know if a lot of people know, there's a myth about it, who wrote it, who didn't write it, and
I've always been intrigued on who it was, you know, who wrote the book. I think I'm more intrigued, you know, with his writing, the man himself. There was an article in the latest issue of Genie, a brilliant piece by David Alexander. God rest his soul, he passed away now. So, so for all you guys who haven't, you know, read that article, definitely read it. There's some pretty good, you know, pieces on there by him.
Yeah.
But what inspires me? It's again a work of art. I never cease to get bored of it, you know. And every time I read it, even though I've read it thousands of times, I pick up something new. a little technique, a little trick, and I may even think it's new, like, oh, this is something new. I go back to Erdnase, boom, it's there. But just the techniques, the method behind the techniques, the psychology, the misdirection, it's just brilliant, you know. And the way he writes, that's what really impresses me.
Because I remember you sat down and talked with a lot of people about who the man was, and you had like hours, and we had hours and hours of discussion about it. Do you wanna?
Again, this is it's a big controversial thing.
You had a little bit of theories about it.
Yeah, it's really hard. I mean, early on, I mean, you know, with the latest edition, of course, with the Dover edition, there was an amazing piece written in there by Martin Gardner. And basically his theory, which I believed at the time, was a man named Milton Franklin Andrews, where, you know, he was a tall gentleman, you know what I mean, who was a card cheat. He was actually caught on a riverboat cheating, but the move that he got caught on wasn't in the book, right? So, but it didn't fit with the descriptions of the man who actually sat down with, you know, the guy, the illustrator.
Sure.
You know, basically, Marshall Smith. You know, he recalled he wasn't 6 feet. You know, he was 5'6". You know, better than average in looks. So again, there's a lot of controversy who it is. Personally, my best bet right now on who do I think it is, again, is the piece by David Alexander.
Okay.
You know, W.E. Sanders, which stands for Wilbur Edgerton Sanders. Again, there's many pieces I think that fit the puzzle. Is it really him? I guess
it's still a puzzle.
It's still a puzzle.
Still
we'll never know.
A big puzzle. Interesting. And it's something that's going to keep going and keep going.
I think it's going to be kind of like the Jack the Ripper case.
Yeah.
You know, we kind of have an idea, like a trail, but are we really sure? We don't really know. But there are a lot of pieces that fit from that article that, you know, puts Wilbur Edgerton Sanders in the spot that it could be him. I'm not going to say is him. So, again.
Yeah. And here's another question. There's a lot of young people that come, especially here at Morrissey Magic, and they want to buy a book. They want to go, oh, what should I get? And they really hear about the expert at the card table. Like, I want to get Erdnase, but they don't really have an idea what the book it's all about. They just, you know, they want to get it because they hear from other people. So for somebody that don't have the book yet, but they're interested in buying it, what would be like something? Can you tell them something about it, like something that, you know? Because most people go, is it hard? Is it difficult? Is it easy? Is it simple to read? So any thoughts about it?
I think to answer that question is, you know, many people say, you know, should you start with Erdnase? Should you start with something else? There's no real answer. I mean, start with whatever you're comfortable with. Erdnase himself pretty much says it's, you know, it's a postgraduate course.
Yeah.
Meaning you should have some knowledge how to overhand shuffle, how to riffle shuffle on the table. I think, you know, even other books like Royal Road to Card Magic, Expert Card Technique, which came a little bit after Expert at the Card Table.
Yeah.
Fantastic books.
Awesome.
But it's all on the basis of Erdnase, all these techniques. So is there a best way to which book to pick up? I would say it doesn't matter. If you pick up Erdnase, which I highly recommend, by the way, basically study it. Study it, study it, study it. Not just go through the descriptions. And master each section slowly.
Yeah.
You know, when you do the overhand shuffles, before you learn a false shuffle, you have to know how to do a regular shuffle.
Yeah.
And then the false, of course, will mimic
you just follow
the regular shuffle to the best of your ability. But that's probably the best advice on it. Read it slowly and absorb it. You know, don't jump around. Learn the false shuffles first, then move over to the false cuts, and then slowly, maybe you can call yourself an expert one day.
Slowly. So that means you're not going to just get it and jump into it.
No.
So that doesn't mean the book is easy.
Exactly. And
right?
I think that's one of the reasons why a lot of people, beginners, experts, whatever you want to call them, have difficulty with it. You know, it was written in 1902. There are some words in there that are kind of hard to understand.
Very hard.
And they don't get it. They just don't understand it. So they figure Erdnase doesn't work. This is old school. It's 1900. But everything makes sense in there.
Yeah.
It's applicable then as it is now. So
sure.
very, very
awesome. Well, so do you have any like moves or techniques that are favorite from the book, or something that you got it from it, and you, because you said you got this book and you said it since you're a young kid, and do you have anything that you still do it since you learned it, you still get it and you do it all the time now?
Well, you know what? I like all the moves in Erdnase. I love the artifice section. I like the gambling, the tricks, and the magic. But I would probably say the best move that I love, applicable to gambling demonstrations or magic, again, would be the bottom deal.
The bottom deal.
A bottom deal, which is pretty much what Erdnase calls the highest accomplished move that the professional can acquire.
And it's the same thing that you saw that your uncle doing. Which
That's right.
Maybe that's imprinted in your mind.
That's right.
Somehow.
And I saw my uncle. I was probably 4 feet at the time, but he was doing it. And of course, the technique he got was from Erdnase.
From Erdnase, yeah.
That was the technique he utilized.
That's perfect. So would you mind demonstrating a little bit of the bottom deal
I'd love to. I'd love to.
Okay, so coming right up, Louie will show you a little bit of the bottom deal. He's working the bottom deal.
Okay, guys, so what I'm going to do now is demonstrate my favorite move, and I believe Erdnase is from his book as well, the famous bottom deal. What we're going to do is actually go through the deck and find the, for demonstration purposes, I'll just use the aces that are here. So as you guys can see, the 4 aces, and there's no other aces in the pack, just so that you guys may think there's duplicates or anything. There isn't any. So I'm going to place the 4 aces on the bottom of the deck, and let's say we're playing poker, 5-handed. I'm going to deal them out and give myself, of course, the winning 4 aces. So as we deal the cards out, we come to my hand, and then each time we come to my hand, we deal them right off the bottom of the deck.
Okay, so that concludes actually interview. Louie, thanks for coming. Do you have any last words for our viewers?
Absolutely, guys. If you are interested in the book, I highly recommend it. There is no right or wrong time when to start the book. Just grab it. It's awesome. Morrissey has it. It's cheap. I think it's like $9.95.
Yeah.
Very dirt cheap for that price. Pick up a deck of cards. You're good to go. I myself come here quite a bit. Louise is here as well.
Yeah.
If we're here, feel free to ask us questions and enjoy the book.
And you said this one is the one that everybody carries now. It's actually a cheap version, and it's a pretty very good book. But you have like some amazing first edition that costs like a lot of money.
Sure. I wouldn't go that far. If you're
really cool.
Absolutely. I mean, for collectors, I like to collect as well. You can definitely pick up one of these. If you can find it, that is, on eBay. But Dover, you can't go wrong. The text is all in there. Pick it up. And
if they have another question, I think they can find you on Facebook as
Absolutely,
well.
Right? I'm on Facebook, Louie Lebetjis, Twitter. I'm also on the Twitter. My name is Mr. Erdnase1. That's my YouTube channel. So if you guys want to see second deals, bottoms, centers, more gambling themed, I think I have a coin trick on there or something like that. A couple tricks. I learned from him. So basically, those are, if they want to see other slights, some in Erdnase, some not, you can check out my channel. But I hope you guys enjoyed the book. It was great doing the interview. Thank you so much, Louise.
Thanks again for coming.
Absolutely.
And you'll hear more from this guy soon.
All right. Take care, guys.